The first time my pediatrician walked into my hospital room after my daughter was born, the first thing he asked me was, "How many languages do you speak?" I counted and I said 6. He said, "Very well, you will be teaching your daughter 6 languages." He went on to explain that being multilingual can be a protective factor against cognitive decline in older age. And given our aging population, it makes perfect sense that we do everything we can to try and delay that. And he really made sure that I got the message. So at our 6-week follow-up appointment, when I walked into his office with my daughter, the first thing he asked me was, "So how many languages can your daughter speak now?" I expect at least 4. He clearly meant it as a joke at the time, but I think he said it to make sure that I took him seriously. And I was surprised to learn recently that there are parents who are worried about their children being multilingual because there is a concern that this could potentially delay their language development. And I referenced this video over here by Adrienne Epps, and in this video she busts myths about multilingualism. As a speech and language pathologist, Adrienne actually recommends for multilingual families to bring up multilingual children. There are certainly a ton of benefits in being multilingual. If you are interested in this video, I have linked it in the description box below. In this video, I will be sharing with you a little bit of background about myself as to how I became multilingual, and also some of my approaches as to how I try and teach my daughter to be multilingual. Firstly, I'm not aware of any school that teaches a child 6 languages. I grew up in Malaysia, where it is culturally very diverse. I started speaking Foochow and English from birth at home, and then I started learning Mandarin formally from the age of 6, Malay from the age of 7, and I picked up Cantonese and Hokkien just socially. My dominant language is English at the moment because I live in Australia. I started speaking 6 languages to my daughter from birth, and I'm not equally proficient in all 6 languages, so with every single message that I said to her, I said in at least 3 languages. Did it take a long time to get a single message across? Yes, it did, but given that I started from birth at the very early stages, she was non-verbal anyway, so that wasn't much of a big deal. I do encourage that you start doing this from birth before they can protest, because I have heard of older children refusing to learn another language. So it's all about brainwashing really early. Given that we live in Australia, I anticipate my daughter's dominant language to be English. However, the other language that I really want her to learn is Mandarin. And this is because Mandarin is so hard to learn. In my opinion, you kind of need the maximal lead-up time as well as the maximal cognitive capacity to pick up Mandarin. I find that if you have learned some Mandarin, even at a very basic level, it kind of paves the path for you to learn other languages. I recently tried to learn German, and I found it easier to pick up German, although it was completely foreign to me, compared to refreshing my Mandarin. I just want to say, if you're new to my channel, welcome, I'm Dani. This is a lifestyle channel focused on practical parenting, multilingualism, and luxury handbags. So if you like content like that, certainly consider subscribing. And if you're enjoying this video so far, please hit that thumbs up button for me because it will really help my channel grow. Moving on to talking about the resources that I use. These resources that I talk about will be about how I teach my daughter Mandarin. However, these techniques are similar and transferable to other languages as well. The first resource that I've got here is this music album with Mandarin nursery rhymes, and I played this for my daughter daily until about the age of 2 when she decided that she didn't want to listen to it anymore. But I know that they sing some of these songs at childcare, and I know that my daughter gets really excited because she's familiar with these songs. I personally also do really like this album, and based on the reviews that I've read, it is also very popular compared to many other albums that are on the market. So if you're interested, I've linked this down below. The next thing is this book over here, and is the Usborne First 1,000 Words in Chinese. This is available on Amazon, and I've also seen it at Dimmicks. I really like this book because I think it's really engaging. So it's like a spot puzzle. So here I would say, 话题在哪里, or where is the slide to start with? And my daughter would then go and point it out. The other thing that I really like about this book as well is that it's got pinyin, or the sounds of the Chinese characters. What's also super convenient about this book is the index or the word list on the back. It is arranged in alphabetical order of the pinyin. So right at the top is ayi, which means aunt. And then it goes in alphabetical order all the way till Z at the end. For example, the very last phrase in this word list is 做事情, which means doing things. There's this online retailer that I found as well that sells really nice children's Mandarin books. These are my favorite books from them because firstly, they are cardboard books, so they tolerate being mistreated by children a little bit more, and they also have pinyin in them. I will link their details in the description box below. I was also introduced to this really awesome app called Pleco. So it's really easy to use. So I'm in the Pleco app right now, and I'm just going to scroll a character on it, and this is Xiao, which means small. You can see down the bottom, the app provides a number of suggestions, and the first one is the correct character, and I'm going to select that, and it gives you the pinyin as well as the meaning of the word. It will also read the word for you.
小.
This app also does sentences, so I'm just going to write a short sentence. This is 我 爱 你, which is I love you. I click done and it'll read it out for me.
我爱你.
There you go. So the Pleco app is really handy when I come across words that I can't read. I do have a few children's books that don't have pinyin, and if I come across a character that I can't recognize, I will open up the Pleco app, enter the word in. Pleco will tell me how to read it and also what it means. And if an app like this exists in Mandarin, I'm sure it exists in other languages too. I also use Google Translate as well. Now, to use Google Translate to speak Mandarin, you do need a little bit of basic knowledge of Mandarin because it's not 100% accurate. But for basic Mandarin, I think it is totally fine. And then I also use flashcards. I have a few sets of these, and I was very lucky that my sister-in-law gifted them to us. So if you have family in Malaysia, these flashcards are from Popular Bookstore. And with the flashcards, what I did was I certainly did them with my daughter, and I also placed them around her playpen when she was very young. And now that she's older and mobile, I also stick them up in her nursery. With reading and learning how to write Chinese, I don't push my daughter too hard. I kind of just go with the flow. At the moment, she can read 4 Mandarin characters, and she hasn't progressed from that for a while. I haven't pushed her too hard, and I'm just going with her pace. So I try and tempt her into learning Mandarin by looking at the flashcards myself and reading some of her books myself. And if she's interested, I let her join me. I really do believe that introducing a language should be organic and not forced. My concern, I guess, is that if I make the learning experience unpleasant, she's going to be more aversive towards it. From day to day, I'm also proactive about speaking multiple languages with her. And this is, say, around the house or even when we're out and about. I'll give you a few examples. So if we're driving, I will ask her, what do you see? In Mandarin, 你看到什么? In Malay, kamu nampak apa? In Fuchao, 你看见了? In Cantonese, 你睇到乜嘢? In Hokkien, 碌滑到哈咪? Another example is, oh, there's a red car. In Mandarin, 那是一个红色的车. In Bahasa Melayu, kereta itu warna merah. In Fuchao, hiruntia si erinsik. In Cantonese, kokote hai hongsik. Once my daughter got older and she was allowed some screen time, I introduced her to Peppa Pig in Mandarin, which is on YouTube. And I also recently discovered Bluey in Mandarin, which is on ABC. And my daughter has no idea that either Peppa Pig or Bluey exists in English. During her bath, I would also name her body parts. So as I'm washing her hair, I would say, this is your hair. In Mandarin, 这是你的头发. In Bahasa Melayu, ini kamu punya rambut. In Fuchao, 这是你头毛. I'm also really opportunistic when we're on the swing or when she's on the swing because she's technically trapped in there. So as I'm pushing her on the swing, I would touch different body parts and name them. I would go 头发, which is hair, 肩膀, shoulders, chest, 胸部. I also use the opportunity to count. So I can count in 8 languages. So yes, my daughter does a lot of counting. The other thing you can do is also to join a playgroup in the language of your interest. I certainly tried doing this, but I couldn't find one anywhere near where I lived. Now, if in your household both parents speak different languages, there is a technique called one parent, one language. So each parent would speak their own language with the child. If in your family there's only one parent that is multilingual, there's another technique called one day, one language, I believe, and that's when you separate the languages by days. I did do this for a while, but I've kind of stopped doing that because I feel that there's not enough days in the week. A couple of videos ago, I spoke about memory formation and errorless learning. I certainly use these techniques as well to teach my daughter multiple languages. I'm not going to go into the nitty-gritty of these techniques because this video is just going to get too long otherwise, and I will link it up here if you're interested. Essentially what I do is I only test my daughter if I am 100% sure that she knows the answer, because every time she gets it right, that's going to be positive reinforcement for her to continue learning. As an example, if I ask her, what is this in Mandarin? And if she knows the answer, she's going to give it to me straight away. But if she hesitates for a single second, I will volunteer the answer to her before she has the opportunity to get it wrong. I find that children in general want to impress you anyway, so a lot of testing is probably not required. Kids will often just volunteer an answer to watch your face light up. And my daughter's certainly done that. She'll be like, oh, that's blue, 蓝色. If you like this video, certainly give me a thumbs up because it would really help out my channel. This is the perfect segue into my upcoming English Mandarin videos that I hope will be helpful and engaging to little children as well as parents who are keen on learning some simple Mandarin that they can incorporate into their everyday lives. Certainly feel free to check out some of the videos that I've put on screen as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!